Take us through everything that happened in returning to the field in 2020. It was already an extremely different and difficult year because of COVID. You're on a new team. You're returning from that cancer diagnosis. What was last season like for you?
Oh, last season was a whirlwind, but it's so fitting just knowing that kind of the downturn that kind of my career and life had taken after the diagnosis, and then to get to make it into the clear, to survive, to have the surgery, go be successful, and then to get drafted. I mean, not get drafted, but get traded on draft day to a team with a bunch of familiar faces, with a coach that I have, a ton of love and respect for. And, but to top it all off, COVID had to put a damper on things. But, in that moment, I figured, what better way? I've already been stacked against all odds. Now I got to make my comeback. During a year where I had literally no preparation, no OTAs, no preseason, a year that was unprecedented, in the NFL. So just to be able to double down on myself and know that I was putting a lot, in a year that had a lot of uncertainty when it comes down to just betting on myself and knowing that I'm about to be a pending free agent, it was nerve-wracking, but, I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Oh, I love that. And Kyle Shanahan, he's your guy, and he wanted you in the worst possible way, wanted to make that trade, wanted to re-sign you, and he did. And look, this season, you've been absolutely elite. I mean, there's a case for you to be the Offensive Player of the Year in the National Football League. You are Pro Football Focus's highest-rated player, on pace for the highest grade of all time. You've always been sensational. Trent, how did you raise your game to such a high level this year?
Honestly, it's just all about what I expect out of myself. And, last year I felt like I had a pretty good season, and I finally had an off season to where I could get back to what I thought made me the best, to get back to my blueprint. And, and I was just able to build off of last year. And, I'm obviously getting older. I played a lot of football, so I do think that helps my instincts and my awareness on the field. And, I just come from a place where I'm not taking Sundays for granted anymore, and I know that they're not promised. So I just try to go out there and give it my all and put my best foot forward. And ultimately, I want to motivate, the kids around the world, because, being an offensive lineman, it's never been glamorous. When I was growing up, it wasn't anything that I just wanted to do. I had to play it because of the size. But now I want to continue to shift that, where guys like me, as a younger kid playing football, you're not worrying about touching the ball and getting all the attention, because you can see how much you can affect the game by not touching the ball in the trenches, and that's just kind of the light I want to shed upon my job.
I love that response. That's great stuff. And everyone on the outside has a strong opinion on Jimmy Garoppolo, and your job literally is to protect his blind side. He was so tough, so clutch in that overtime win on CBS against the Bengals on Sunday. Trent, how would you describe Jimmy G?
Jimmy G he's a Super Bowl worthy quarterback. I think he showed that 2 years ago. He's an outstanding leader for this team. Those games, we're not alive in those games. We don't have Jimmy G, and Jimmy G doesn't play the game that he played. It's just having him in that huddle, having a guy that leaves no stone unturned during the week. That he's going to prepare like no other, and then that he has the talent to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. So Jimmy G has been awesome for us this year, and then he's been huge with our last couple months of the year, what we've been able to do as far as turning this thing around.
You guys are right back at it this Sunday on CBS. Another gigantic ball game loaded with playoff implications at home facing the Atlanta Falcons. Look, you guys had this sensational win on the road in Cincinnati. You're currently in the playoffs. George Kittle is playing out of his mind. The defense, Brandon Ayuk. I mean, it's all happening right now. What stands out during these winning ways, and what's the feeling in the locker room as the 49ers head down the stretch and make that playoff push?
To me, it's the mentality. The mentality is what I think sticks out. Because, I mean, even if you go back to Sunday, which Sunday was an awesome win for our team, which Sunday showed us that we can go on the road versus a really good team and win in their backyard. But I think what Sunday showed us is that we can overcome adversity. We had a pretty good lead going into that fourth quarter. Cincinnati made a series of outstanding plays. They turned it into a game, and we didn't blink. We had to go from having a game won with about 7-8 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter to having to come from behind in overtime and go on a game-winning drive, to win the game. Brandon Ayuk with his walk-off receiving touchdown, but. It took a lot to get to that point. It took a lot. It's a lot on the emotions. It was an emotional roller coaster. But what I'm proud of this team is just the resiliency and always being able to persevere. And a lot of that comes from our leader and our head coach. And that's Cal. He's never thinking about what went wrong. He's always thinking about how can we make it right.
The Rams are back. This is not an overreaction after one game. This was exactly what we needed to see from Matthew Stafford in this specific game. Stafford threw majestic bombs, 3 touchdowns, and brilliantly guided the Rams to a statement win in Arizona against the team with the best record in the NFL. I'd make this case. This was the most impressive and biggest win of Stafford's career. In fact, he was previously 0-20 against teams with 8 or more wins going into a game. 0-20. Think about that. And he did it without Jalen Ramsey. He was put on the COVID list yesterday afternoon. And honestly, I thought that would be the dagger. They played last night with no Ramsey, no Tyler Higbee, no Darrell Henderson. And Stafford made sure it was no problem. And how about my guy, Cooper Kupp? That's the best receiver in the National Football League. That's a legit candidate for Offensive Player of the Year. Cooper Kupp, are you kidding me? This is the norm. 13 catches, 123 yards, and a huge touchdown. And get this, Cooper Kupp is on pace to winning the receiving Triple Crown. It's unbelievable. Van Jefferson was great, caught that majestic bomb from Stafford. And when Stafford plays at an MVP level, LA can beat anyone in the NFC. And when you talk about the galaxy of LA stars, the offense is always fun. But the biggest star, bar none, is Aaron Donald, who's an all-time great defensive ball player, a Mount Rushmore kind of all-timer. 3 sacks in a gigantic game, of course. And of course, he sealed it late, just barreling over Kyler Murray on the final play. Now, it's all about handling business. Beat the Seahawks, beat the Vikings, beat the Ravens. And Sean McVay needs to show that he can beat Kyle Shanahan. It's still all there for the Rams. They are absolutely in the Super Bowl conversation. There was no bigger winner on Monday Night Football than Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. With the Cardinals' loss, Green Bay moved into the #1 seed in the NFC with 4 games left to play. And we've been saying this for a while now. Arizona always deserved credit at the top of the power rankings, but this weekend showed that Green Bay is going to get the coveted bye and the home field. Aaron Rodgers, as we speak, is the slight leader, in my opinion, for NFL MVP, and it showed again on Sunday nights. Rodgers is just on fire. Devontae Adams is absolutely unreal. And the run game and the defense are more built for the frigid weather in January than ever before. And oh, by the way, the Green Bay Packers are a perfect 6-0 this season at Lambeau Field. There are 5 legit Super Bowl contenders in the NFC. Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Dallas, the Rams, and the cards are all legit, but I give Green Bay the edge with Aaron Rodgers. Now, the Bucs have Brady, and that means they're going to be viable and in play, and the Cardinals have Kyler Murray, who didn't get it done again in a big spot last night. I love the Cardinals, but those two picks from Murray, my goodness, they were killers. That can't happen. Plus, DeAndre Hopkins had a huge drop at the 2. Cliff Kingsbury had some goofy game management down the stretch. And Green Bay, as you see on the screen, has a much softer schedule. Look in the middle when you analyze the Arizona Cardinals with the Colts and the Cowboys. Heck, the Cardinals still have to hold off the Rams and win the division. I love the Cardinals. I respect the Cardinals. The finish last night was a hot mess. I mean, the end of that game was a disaster. Cardinals have been great all year, but the Packers have always been the team worthy of the number 1 seed. Bag it, Urban Meyer. That post-game press conference was a disgrace. It was cringeworthy. An absolute hot mess. Urban Meyer responding to the brilliant journalism from our friend Tom Pelissero over at the NFL Network over the weekend. And listen, I wouldn't be surprised if Urban was leaking that, because it's like Costanza driving around with the World Series trophy. He wants out. Shad Khan, do the right thing. I don't want to hear that this is acting on helter-skelter or emotion. Come on. Let's go. Your team stinks. Urban's an embarrassment. Everything that he's done this entire year since he was hired has been a disaster. From the strength and conditioning coach to complaining about free agency to the draft to Tim Tebow to talking openly about how a player's vaccination status is going to impact whether or not they're on the roster, to what happened at the bar in Columbus, the fact that they didn't take the plane back with the team after the Cincinnati Thursday night debacle. Trevor Lawrence is thrown to the wrong team. What happened last week with James Robinson was a disgrace. Listen, I like the hire. Sean, I was wrong. You were wrong. Fire Urban Meyer right now. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.